Hello friends, welcome to the platform of Purvanchal IAS. This is our course of MPPSC on history of Madhya Pradesh. We were discussing about the major arts of Madhya Pradesh in the previous session. That was part 1 of major arts of Madhya Pradesh. This is part 2 of the same topic. This is lecture number 6. Purvanchal IAS is a venture for sustainable education by Dr. Ravi Agrahari sir and his team. We help poor and underprivileged students who want to study for online classes of various subjects. You can download our app from the Google Play Store, or you can call us on these numbers to get more information on the same. So in our course we have been following this MPPSC syllabus as far as the prelims exam is concerned. The first topic in that is of the history, culture and literature of Madhya Pradesh, wherein we have discussed already about the major events and major dynasties in history of Madhya Pradesh, contribution of Madhya Pradesh in freedom movement, right? So the third topic we have been discussing, that is the major arts and sculptures of Madhya Pradesh. We have seen the first part of it, and this is the second part of this topic. So the topics which we will be discussing in this session are the religious and tourist places of Madhya Pradesh, and we'll have a look at a few practice questions related to the same to understand the kind of questions that can be appearing in the MPPSC prelims exam as far as this topic is concerned, right? So the first place that we will be discussing about is of Chitrakuta. So this is located in the Satna district, and as per the Hindu mythology, Chitrakuta is considered to be the birthplace of the trinity gods of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. So that gives it a really great religious importance, and that also promotes the tourism of this area, or the pilgrim tourism of this area. It is said that Lord Rama and Sita, they spent a few years of their exile here with Maharshi Atri and Sati Anasuya. Right, so these are the facts worth remembering, and the famous tourist destinations here. If we talk about that, we have Ramghat and Kamadgiri Temple, Janki Kund, Gupt Godavari Caves, Hanuman Dhara, Bharat Milap Temple, Satya Anasuya Ashram, Swatik Shila. Okay, so these are the famous tourist destinations here, and Chitrakoot is the area which is located in the Satna district, right? So we have seen that as per Hindu mythology, it has this religious importance, and that would be promoting its tourist tourism importance. Okay, so the next place is of the Gomatgiri. This is located in the Indore district, and it is a religious place of Jainism. Here a large 21 feet statue of Gomateshwar will be found. Okay, so Chitrakoot and Gomatgiri are the important tourist destinations of Madhya Pradesh, and their importance we have discussed in here. So the next one is Mehar. This is also located in the Satna district of Madhya Pradesh. Mehar itself is known for the temple of the revered mother goddess Sharada, which is situated on the Trikuta hills. Okay, so Gola Matha temple, which obviously is dedicated to Lord Shiva, is present in this area. So Mehar is area of Satna district. Then Omkareshwar is located in the Khandwa district, and here the Jyotirling, which is situated on the confluence of Narmada Kaveri, is important tourist place. Also other famous places here are the Omkar Mandhata, Siddhanath Mandir, Saptamatrika Mandir, Kajal Rani Cave. Okay, so these are the important places as far as Omkareshwar is concerned. Then the next one is the Pushpagiri. It is located in the Devas districts. It is the head branch of Jain religion. Okay, so here we have discussed about Meher, and Meher, important point here that needs to be remembered is that here there is this temple of Sharada Devi, and Gola Math temple, that is something which you need to remember. Omkareshwar, here there is this Jyotirling along the confluence of Narmada and Kaveri, that is important. Then Pushpagiri itself is a head branch of Jain religion. Next place is of Ujjain, and the famous Singhast or Simhast festival of Ujjain is celebrated every 12 years, just as the Kumbh Mela. Okay, so they have this festival called the Singhast or Simhasta. This festival is celebrated every 12 years. Even Kumbh Mela of Uttar Pradesh is celebrated every 12 years. In the same way, this is also celebrated. Tourist destinations of Ujjain include the Mahakal Temple, the Mangalnath Temple, Kal Bhairav Temple, Vikrant Bhairav Temple, Har Siddhi Durga Temple, Chausat Yogini Temple, Gadkalika Temple, Gopal Mandir, Anant Narayan Temple, Navgrah Temple, and Mahakaleshwar Temple, Mosque of Khwaja Shakil, Jama Masjid, Shahi Masjid, etc. So these are the places which are of utmost importance as far as tourism is concerned, and for all of these reasons, Ujjain is known as the city of statues and temples. Okay. So Ujjain, as we have seen, is the thing in which you need to remember mainly is that it is called the city of statues and temples, and Ujjain itself is famous for this Singhasta, which is celebrated every 12 years. Right. So various other places you need to remember. Then the hill stations are of prominence as far as Madhya Pradesh is concerned and the tourism in the state. The most famous of the hill stations we'll be discussing here. The first one is the Panchmani. Okay, so Panchmani is the area which has the literal meaning of five caves. So this area has caves, it has mountains, hills. So for all of these reasons, Panchmani is really famous. It is considered as a site of Buddhist era and it is called the Satpura ki Rani. Okay, so what you need to remember is it is called Satpura ki Rani, and this was discovered by Captain James Forst. Okay, and in 1862 this was discovered, and Priyadarshini and Handiko are the important valleys or this of this area. Other popular tourism spots here are Apsara Vihar Waterfall, Rajat Falls, Rajgiri, Linjigiri, Irene Pool Waterfall, Duchess Falls, Sundarkund, Dhoopgarh, Panch Pandav Cave, Harper Caves, Sardar Caves, Tridhara, one Sri Vihar, Chota and Bada Mahadev, and the Christ Church. Okay, so these are the important tourism places of Panchmani. Panchmani itself is called the Satpura ki Rani, and Captain James first has he discovered it in 1862, and Priyadarshini and Handiko are the important valleys here. Then the next place is of hill station is of Amarkantak, which is also called the Tirath Raj. So we have seen why it is called the Tirath Raj. And Amarkantak is located in the Anuppur district. It is the important hill station of Madhya Pradesh, and it is the source of three rivers, Narmada, Son, and Johila, and that makes it really important. So what is it? It is the source of Narmada, Son, and Johila, and that is why this place becomes important. So what are the places to visit here? The places to visit are Kapil Dhara, Dugda Dhara, Sonmuda, Mai Ki Bagia, Kabir Chauraha, Brigu Kamandal, then Pushkar Bandh. Right. So these are the important areas as far as Amarkantak is concerned. Then the historical places and monuments of Madhya Pradesh are also really important. So the first one is Khajuraho. We have discussed about Khajuraho, and as an historical place, we know that Khajuraho is present in Chhatarpur area, and the famous Chandel ruler Chandra Varma was the founder of Khajuraho. So by the Chandels it was built, and Chandra Varma was the founder of Khajuraho. It was included in the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1986, and it was constructed in about 950 AD, the time between 950 and 1050 AD. Total number of temples here was 85, but at present there are only 22 temples left. Okay, and Khajuraho itself, King Dhang built this in Jinanath, Vishwanath, Badhnath temples. So these temples of Khajuraho were built by King Dhang, which are Jinanath, Vishwanath and Badhnath temple. The Kandariya Mahadev temple was built by Yashovarman. So these facts are something that one needs to remember. Then Sanchi of Raisen, the stupa of Sanchi itself was built by Ashoka. It is included in the UNESCO World Heritage List in of 1989, and Torana, the main gate and the boundary wall of the stupa were built by Shunga ruler. So we have seen this already that Sanchi, the central portion was built by Ashoka, the dome and all were built by Ashoka, and the Pradakshina Path along with the Torana were built by the during the Shunga rulers. Okay, so Khajuraho, Sanchi are the important historical places and monuments of Madhya Pradesh. Khajuraho in Chhatarpur district was built by the rulers. And Chandel ruler Chandravarma was its founder. It is also part of the UNESCO World Heritage List. And the Jinanath, Vishwanath, and Badhanath temples are important temples which were built by King Dhang, and Kandriya Mahadev temple was built by Yashovarman. Similarly, Sanchi Stupa was built by Ashoka. The outer Pradakshina Path and Torana were built by the Shunga rulers, and it is also part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site list, and it became that in 1989. Then Mandu Dhar is also important area here. It is also known as Mandovgarh, which is situated in the Dhar district, and it was named as Shahidabad, that is the city of joy, by Hoshang Shah. So Mandu itself was named as Shahidabad by Hoshang Shah. Parmara dynasty made it as their capital, while uh, the places to visit are 12 gateways, Parkota in the fort of Mandu, which are called the Rampole, Tarapur, Darwaza, Jahangir Darwaza, Delhi Darwaza, etc. Okay, and Hindola Palace, Tomb of Hoshan Shah, Jama Masjid, Ashrafi Palace, Riva Kund, Rupmati Mandap, Neelkant Mahal, Hathi Mahal, Lohani Caves, all of these are important areas, important tourist places as far as the Mandu area is concerned. Then the next place here is Barhut, and it is present in Satna district. So it is known for the remains of Ashoka's Buddha Stupa. So Ashoka's Buddha Stupa, the Barhut Stupa, we have discussed about that also. This was found here. It was discovered by Cunningham in 1854. Then the next important place is of the Vidisha. Vidisha area is known as Besnagar and Bhelsa. So it is located between Betwa and Bes rivers, and before so Ashoka had been the governor of this area for 11 years, and we also have the pillar of Heliodorus. So if you remember, we discussed this. The pillar of Heliodorus was built by Heliodorus himself in the honor of Vasudev. Okay, to honor Vasudev this was built, right? So we have discussed about Mandu of Dhar, Barhut, which is in Satna district, and Vidisha, right? So the next important place is Orcha in Nibadi. So it is located on the banks of Betwa River and it was found by Bundela ruler Rudra Pratap in the 16th century. Okay, so Orcha, which is in Nibadi, that has the spots of Raja Ram Mahal, Rai Praveen Mahal, Chaturbhuj Temple, Lakshmi Narayan Temple, which are important tourist places in this area. Indore itself is really famous also because of the cleanliness there, and it is considered to be one of the best planned cities. And Peshwa Bajirao I Subedar Malhar Rao Holkar made Indore his own capital. Okay, and the other important areas here, spots here, are the Lal Bagh Palace, Rajwada, Kanch Mandir, Khajuraho temple. Okay, Gwalior is also important place here, which is one of the important tourist centers, and it is named after Rishi Galav. And this has various places to visit: the Gwalior Fort, the Gujri Mahal, which was built by Raja Man Singh for his beloved Gujar queen Mrignayani, मन मंदिर, सूरज कुंड, तेली का मंदिर, सास बहू का मंदिर, जयविलास पैलेस, स्टैचू ऑफ रानी लक्ष्मीबाई म्यूजियम, टॉम्ब ऑफ तानसेन मोहम्मद गौस, नगर पालिका म्यूजियम, जू, Gurudwara, Sun Temple, all of these are important places of tourist attractions in Gwalior. Okay, so we have discussed about Orcha, Nibadi, Indore, and Gwalior and the tourist attractions in these areas. Then the next place is Bhopal. So, Bhojpal, built by Raja Bhoj of Parmada dynasty, it was later named as Bhopal. Okay, so it was initially called Bhojpal, Raja Bhoj of Parmada dynasty. By them it was built, and later on it was called Bhopal. So it is situated over 5 hills, 2 lakes are there. The famous sites here are Tajul Masjid, Jama Masjid, Saket Mahal, Bharat Bhavan, Birla Mandir, Indira Gandhi Museum, and One Vihar. Okay, so these are the important tourist places of Bhopal, which was originally called Bhojpal because Raja Bhoj of Parmar dynasty built this. Okay, the major forts of Madhya Pradesh include the fort of Gwalior. It is also known as the Gibraltar of East. Okay, so the fort is such that it is called the Gibraltar of East, and it was built in the 18th century by Suraj Sen. Right, there are 5 entrances to this fort: the Alamgir Darwaja, Hindola Darwaja, Gujri Mahal Darwaja, Chaturbhuj Darwaja, and Hathi Ford Darwaja. Right, so fort of Gwalior, it is one of the important forts and called the Gibraltar of East, is something that you need to remember. And the next fort is in Chanderi. Chanderi near Betwa River in Ashoknagar district of Madhya Pradesh is an has houses an important fort here. Raja Kirtipal in the 11th century built it, and it is an example. Chanderi itself is an example of a Mughal fort, which actually dominated the trade routes of central India. Right. The other one is the fort of Asirgarh. It is called the Gateway of South, and it is related to the death of Mumtaz. It is present in the Burhanpur district. Then we have the Ajager Fort, which was built by Raja Ajaypal near Panna, and Ginnorgarh Fort, which is present 60 kilometers away from Bhopal, and it was built by King Uday Varman. Raisen Fort of Raisen, it was constructed by King Raj Basanti, and the King Rohit's Palace, Badal Mahal, Itradan Mahal, all of these are important tourist places in Raisen Fort and nearby area. So Dhar Fort of Dhar district is important here. Muhammad bin Tughlaq during his south conquest built this, and Kharbuja Palace, the temple of goddess Kalka, the tomb of Abdul Saha Changal, are also present here. Then we have the Bandhavgarh Fort, which is situated in Bandhavgarh in Umaria district of Madhya Pradesh, right? So here, as per the folklores, it is said that the rulers of Gond Empire constructed this fort, and archaeological surveys claim that it was constructed before Christ period, and including Kalchuris and Baghels, various other dynasties ruled from this fort, and the Royal Pond and Vishnu Temple here are really important and great tourist destinations. Datia Fort, which was built by Naresh Veer Singh Dev in Datia district, it is also known as the Veer Singh Palace, and it is a symbol of in the memory of Mughal Emperor Jahangir and Naresh Veer Singh Ji. Okay, so that is Datia Fort, Bandhavgarh Fort, and Dhar Fort. Then moving on, the Deogarh Fort. It is located in the Chhindwara district of Madhya Pradesh. The kingdom of Gonds in the 17th century built this. Right. So the Mansour Fort, which is present in the Mansour district, it is present on the banks of the river Shivna and built by Alauddin Khilji himself. So Deogarh Port and Mansour Port, we have seen the Orcha Fort, which is in the Nibadi district. It was constructed by Veer Singh Dev and it is located on the banks of the Betwa river. The fort has a Chaturbhuj temple and Jahangir Mahal, Ramlala temple, Lakshmi Narayan temple. All of these are famous there. Okay, so we have seen Deogarh Fort, which is in the Chhindwara district and built by the kingdom of. It was used by the kingdom of Gonds in the 17th century, and it is believed that they built it also. So Mansour Fort in the Mansour district near river Shivna, built by Alauddin Khilji. Then the Orcha Fort of Nibadi district, built by Veer Singh Dev near the Betwa river. Chaturbhuj temple and Jahangir Mahal, all of these are famous there. The fort of Magdai, this is present in the district Harda by King Makrand Shah. This was constructed, and the fort of Gnorgad, built by King Udayvarman in the 13th century, is also famous. Dost Muhammad captured the fort from the last Gond king who was called Kamal Pati. And this area is also known as Shuk Kshetra because there are a lot of parrots that you can see in this area. So that is something worth remembering. The major palaces of Madhya Pradesh: Rani Roopmati Palace of Mandu Bas Bahadur, for his beautiful queen Roopmati he constructed this, and it is situated on the banks of river Narmada, and Afghan architectural style is used here. The Jahangir Palace of Orcha, this was built by Raja Veer Singh Bundela in the honor of Mughal Emperor Jahangir. This is a three-storied palace built mainly with red and yellow sandstone. There were various, it has 136 rooms all decorated with wall paintings, right? So Jahangir Palace, it has 136 rooms in itself, three-storied palace. So you can see the uniqueness here. The architectural style was a confluence of Hindu and Islamic architecture. So Rani Roopmati Palace and Jahangir Palace are really important. Then we have the Gwalior Palace, which was the residence of Jivaji Rao Scindia. Presently, it is a museum. And Gujri Mahal of Gwalior, this was built by King Man Singh for his beloved Gurjar Queen Mrignani. Right. One more place, that is the Moti Mahal. This was built by Jivaji Rao. And the palace has an official court painted with golden color completely. So those are the important points about that. Then Shaukat Mahal and Sardar Manzil. These were designed by the Frenchman, and which was an offshoot of the Bourbon kings of France. Right. Then we have the Baghelin Palace of the Mandla district on the bank of river Narmada. Madan Palace, this is also important place which is constructed by the Gond king Madan Shah in Jabalpur, and Palace of Diya, this is situated in Mandu district of Madhya Pradesh. Then the Rajwada Palace, constructed in Indore, Madhya Pradesh in 1747 by Malhar Rao Holkar, and this palace has lower floors made of stone and upper floors made of wood. Then the major caves in Madhya Pradesh include the Adamgarh cave and Adamgarh Hills, Hoshangabad district. This is situated in various animals, birds, human walls. All of these are carved on the walls of these caves. Then the Bagh caves are important here. Located at a distance of 97 km from the Dhar district, you can see them. The Bagh caves are example of Buddhist culture in western Madhya Pradesh. Then the Bhimbetka caves, which are present in the Raisen district, as we have already discussed, UNESCO declared it as a World Heritage Site in 2003. Early Stone Age, Paleolithic Age, all the evidence there are, and exhibit the earlier traces of human life on Indian subcontinent, obviously, and were discovered by V.S. Wakankar for the first time. Okay, so in this way we have discussed about the various things related to major arts of Madhya Pradesh. We'll be discussing a few concepts in the next session. So here is your practice question from the previous session. Which among the following places have the world's largest megalithic statue, that is Bhavangaja? Which among the following temples is called the Somnath of Central India? That is the Bhojeshwar temple. Then this session, the question asked here is Rajwada Palace is located in which place, and Madan Palace was constructed by whom? Okay, thank you, all the best. I hope you have liked the session. For any other query, you can contact us on this number.